Hey, it's Romy. Welcome to the channel, Pisces. This is your May 2021 soul story. If you've got a sun rising or a moon in the sign, then you might find this reading is supportive in helping you navigate the next few weeks. So we're coming into Taurus energy, which is earth, and that really helps to channel your emotions very productively. And I have a sense that you're going to be using this time to release, rearrange, and also to remember what your focus is and why. And of course, we illuminate the third house when we're into Taurus energy for Pisces, which means you're considering the way in which you think and how you communicate your needs. And I feel that there's something about that that needs to be really unapologetic this month, okay? We're opening up with the energy of the Page of Wands. So I like the vibration that you're taking because it's one of openness, it's one of humility, it's one of just being able to express yourself easily, but also being able to get to the heart of the matter and kind of really bring this sort of detective-like curiosity to situations. And you know, with so many planets moving into Gemini early in the month, even before the sun does, it is a time when information is flowing. In fact, it's flooding towards you. And I suppose the key is, how do we actually decipher what is important in amongst everything? And you can expect that May is going to be a time when things are going to get a little bit tangled up, okay? We're coming into retrograde season, and we're also going to be hitting that full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 26th. And that's like the closing out of that series. If you think back to June 5th, of last year and also December 14th, you might get a little bit of a heads up as to what you're going to be dealing with by way of a final release acknowledgement in that area. But there is a sense of news traveling rapidly. And so, you know, the plans that you're making, and I believe that you are going to be very busy making plans this month, and there's a beautiful opening up in that way, much more sociable, more curious, wanting to connect, wanting to progress things, and identifying who and what can help you make that progression is all going to be really, really productive. And I would say to take the time to do that if you can, more so in the first part of the month, and especially as we build up to the new moon in the sign of Taurus on the 11th, because not only is that moon in a really sweet conversation with Pluto and Neptune, which is going to work well for you, we also have Jupiter moving into your sign on the 13th. So there's some really nice messages, information, and sweet blessings that are coming in. And look, we've got the Ace of Cups here. I love that she's holding this teacup here, or this bowl, and all of these beautiful butterflies are escaping. So much abundance here of good energy to work with, but I feel like it's also testament to the way that you have been allowing yourself to really be disciplined in some of the ways that you're thinking and choosing to reframe things, you know. We understand that when we are trying to overly control ourselves or situations, it's always an invitation for deeper sense of self-trust. That when we're trying to prove things, it's always because we have a need to give validation to ourselves. And I think what's coming up really strongly is that May is not a time for this like hard focus of self-improvement. It's about deep self-acceptance for you. And your Ace of Cups is showing me that you're finding the right balance for that. And your Page of Wands, even with this sort of magnifying glass, is showing me that you're just really honing in on the important details. You're deciphering and discerning the information and managing to kind of clear out and move and detach away from people and situations that are just getting in the way of you really kind of strengthening that bond of respect and value that we talked so much about through the course of last month. So nice, fresh new energy coming in that's going to be really beneficial for you in the way that you're taking care of yourself, but also just taking care of stuff, you know. And even if it's like a work focus or it's a mundane task, what this is showing me is that you're coming at it with an openness and a sense of like, I'm going to find something about this that I enjoy so that I can make it more meaningful and I can move myself forward, because everything about May is you needing to see progress for yourself, especially in that first part of the month. So when we talk about you needing to be unapologetic in the way that we communicate needs, it's because I feel you are going to be tested somewhat with people just needing your attention, needing your time, and almost like at cross purposes, you know? And so you might find yourself in some kind of tricky situations where you're aligned to like multiple different sides of things. And, you know, that's not a bad thing. It's just simply the way it is. But then you have people wanting you to take sides or wanting you to kind of be all in one specific direction. And it's almost like, how do you find the ability to be Switzerland in that, you know? You want to have that sense of holding on to your own energy and not being drained. It's really important through the course of this month that you come back to your own center. Your high priestess is showing me that you are the keeper of a lot of information. I think people are really opening up to you, but in a way, if that information was leaked or it got out, it could be really problematic. So I see you being extra careful and extra aware of who you speak to and how you communicate. That's going to be important. Now, there's also this beautiful focus around drawing in and being reflective, especially as we approach the retrograde season, to more keenly trust in your intuition and the way it wants to guide you. There's a beautiful sense of magnetism that's around you as well. So for those of you that are looking to connect and open up conversations with new people especially, but even existing relationships that perhaps have sort of been on the back burner or have been on hold, or you just haven't had the opportunity to really connect in a while, you're expressing a really lovely high vibrational energy that is supportive to people being able to give themselves permission to move forward as well. So think about the language that you're using, because it's going to have a really strong impact and ripple effect on a lot of people as you get back together with different groups, friendships, co-workers, you know, or you're reconnecting with family members, or even within your own, you know, romantic or personal relationships, partnerships. You have a strong sense of a very empowered position, and we want you to use it wisely. But that magnetism also makes you very desirable, which means that if you are looking to share information or news or get people to see your way of thinking, or you are trying to draw things towards you abundantly, Jupiter coming into your sign is just really going to amplify things in a beautiful way. And you can see that abundance of butterflies that's coming out here, just as a reminder. Now, Seven of Wands comes in here, and he is using brute force strength to pull these bars back. But at the same time, his tattoo says love here. So I think there's a couple of things I want to say here. First of all, we need to have the heart behind things, you know. The courage and the strength comes from a place of belief, but it's the belief in yourself. So the belief in yourself is then what allows you to dig deeper and draw whatever it is, the stamina, the wherewithal, the right people, the resources, the ability to reframe your way of thinking, to say and do the right things, and just to overcome the challenges one after the next after the next. This is a month when you are going to seek to be the vibrational match to the solutions. And when you find yourself disconnected or, you know, far away from that, it is going to feel really acute to you. So there's this kind of urgency to say, right, I know better than this. Like, let's go back to basics here. Let's just reset the energy. And of course, retrograde is going to give you an opportunity to do that as well. But you'll also be challenged, and maybe it's because there are some situations that are going to come back around that we need to deal with, people that we need to deal with, and there's a need for some boundaries to be asserted. And again, the way that you communicate your needs, what you're looking for, how you are seeking to make changes, and remembering what it felt like before you had this new outlook or this newfound sense of awareness is going to be enough to make sure that you don't go backwards. You know, perhaps just the remembrance of how heavy and dense something felt, you know. And even that sounds really strange, but it's like, you know, on her back here is flowers, right? So they're beautiful and they're all in bloom here, and the garden's in bloom, and we can say, well, this is a really beautiful depiction of something that's been created, and yet she's bent over backwards with it. So it's like you can still be receiving like good energies or a part of something that's doing good, but it can still be having a negative impact on your well-being. And I know that might sound at cross purposes, but just be aware through the course of May that I suppose I even want to go as far as to say like too much of a good thing isn't always good for you, because it is about moderation, it's about balance, and it's about you recognizing what it is that you need on a day-to-day basis. And that's going to be changing quite significantly, especially in Gemini energy, because things are lightning speed, they're fickle, they're mutable. Now you understand that as a mutable sign, you know that your choices and decisions ebb and flow, and so we don't want to kind of get stuck in any particular sense of obligation, duty or responsibility, or go back into something that, even though it might have been good or felt good, actually there's something deeper intuitively that is telling us that we're not meant to go back there. Yeah. But your 10 is also showing that we're coming to a point of completion, and something's coming to a time of fruition, and you've probably invested and put an awful lot of blood, sweat and tears into that. And there's also a time where that needs to be released. Sometimes we have to let that energy go and see then what comes back. Holding on, gripping on too tightly, like we said, is always an invitation to say, where do we need to trust more? And that's your High Priestess even further enhancing that message for you through the course of May. So the full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius coming in, of course, you know, it will bring some sudden changes, whether it's to you specifically or certainly to people around you. You're unlikely to avoid the impact of that completely. But with these endings also comes beautiful, fresh new energy. Now you've got 2 aces showing up in your reading for May, which I really appreciate for you, Pisces, because I think you are ready, very, very ready to welcome that in. And there's just this gorgeous spark of inspiration and passion and intensity that's coming. And perhaps you'll need that just to reinvigorate you if you have been feeling a little bit overwhelmed or just having way too much on your plate. I think there's also something about the desire and what you're trying to manifest. And again, use that new moon on the 11th, because it's really going to serve you well in that instance. I think that you are very aware of the impact of some of the things that you are thinking about doing or even saying, and how that's going to impact others and influence perhaps other people's kind of comfort zones, or you know what the structure or the routine of their life is. So I have this sense of you kind of preparing yourself to share and express something that you know might not be beautifully received straight away, although I know over time people are going to understand why you're doing what you're doing, why you feel it necessary to choose what you are and to express yourself in this way. And you just have to hold really strong to that, because I do have you coming in on the right energy to be able to prioritize your needs, you know. But just be aware, because like I said, there's an awful lot of tangled up frequencies that are moving through this month of May, that trying to get everybody kind of on board and in alignment might be a little bit more tricky than you initially expected. So we have the Queen of Wands coming in, could be a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries or Leo. And you know, again, she stands in this garden, she's holding on to this sunflower that looks like it's in a state of growth. It's almost coming out of the card here. So there's rapid growth happening for you, which I really like. And we've got, you know, all of what looks like the bees coming in because they're attracted to the honey, the sweetness, the nectar. Like I said, you've got this air of magnetism about you or about something that you're working on or that you're a part of. You can use that really wisely. You just need to be aware that we don't want to like split our energies and end up sharing so much of the the sweetness that you drain yourself dry. I almost feel like your high priestess wants to say, just keep a little bit of a quiet lid on things until you get to enjoy or you come into harmony with things, before you kind of bring it out there. Now, at the same token, like I said, there's this rapid wildfire kind of vibe that's happening in May. And when we come into Gemini season, we're in your 4th house, which is all about your foundations and where you feel safe. So what it suggests to me is that if something goes further than you are ready for, it might really make you, it could like upheaval you a little bit, where you feel like a little bit out of sorts and you're just like, I wasn't prepared, I wasn't ready yet, I didn't want that shared, that wasn't what my intention was. And especially with retrograde energy at the end of the month, and I think you might have people around you that are kind of well-meaning but saying like, but this is great, or no, you're ready for this, and it's like everybody has an opinion and those opinions are very loud. But I think you know very clearly what the timeline and what it was and what it is that you're trying to do. And so there is going to be a need for you to be a little bit more assertive in dealing with a few characters and energies through the course of this month. But I think it's going to show you a little bit of a different side to yourself, maybe one that you know has been there for a while, kind of waiting in the wings to emerge. And I like the feeling of this energy for you, because I think it's a lot more unapologetic, it's a lot more assertive. And it's a lot more understanding of knowing really what's right for you and not taking too much store in other people's agendas and the ways that they may have been much more controlling of your path in the past. So we've got the King of Wands here, so we have a strong partnership of the King and Queen here, and yet they're looking in opposite directions. So maybe a little bit of a disagreement or something that we need to kind of bring back into a point of understanding. He's beating the drum here, and there's fire coming out of the drum. So there is like a sense of intensity that's coming from this individual or situation that I feel just could be a little bit in your face, if I'm honest. I mean, I tend to love the energy of the King of Wands because he brings such warmth and dynamism and flair and spirit to things. But in this instance, I feel like you have just got this kind of almost like just step back, just give me a little bit of space here. So if you come up against some situations where people just feel like they're really violating your space or coming in just because they're maybe even very overly enthusiastic, it could be on the whole spectrum. This doesn't have to come in a really negative way. It could just be somebody who's so keen to kind of take what you've created or what you have to say, or that you've just met them in a relationship and they're ready to kind of take it out there and you're not. But this over enthusiasm, this sort of determination to kind of beat the jungle drums and share the information and lay it all bare and put the heart on the line, I feel you kind of almost like shutting down, closing down and stepping back a little bit and just saying, whoa, just give me a little bit of time. I need to just figure out where I am and how I feel. Because you're still in this process of releasing and remembering and figuring out, what this season feels like, what this next step looks like for you. And, we're in the month of May, but this last 5 months has probably felt like 5 years in terms of how much it's changed you and what you've experienced. And so I just don't like the urgency of anyone trying to push you too much. So just be aware of that. Could force you to have to make a decision or come to a point of indecision. And in some ways, sometimes the energy of the Two of Swords, we kind of, we put that blindfold or pull that hat down over our eyes because we just don't want to deal with something. And I feel what you're really saying is, I don't want to deal with you right now. It's not that I don't know the answer to this question. It's just that I'm not prepared to share it with you yet because I'm still processing. And be okay with that. I really need you to kind of give yourself permission to be okay with that, regardless of, how it shows up or what the urgency of someone else's timeline is. Because in that 4th house energy, what we're doing is we're coming back to our roots, we're coming back home to ourselves, and we're looking at the spaces around us, and we're wanting to invest in them and make them feel safe and secure for us so that we can draw towards us the people that feel like family, the people that we know will be supportive and, the cheerleaders, and hold that positive space for us, okay? So Gemini season in that 4th house energy brings an emotional appreciation and understanding of what our needs are and where we can seek to the people and the energies that are going to help meet them. But you know, I just have this sense, Pisces, that everyone is going to kind of want a piece of you this month. That's what I want to say. It feels like everybody wants a piece of you, and if you're not careful, that could just drain and burn you out. And so this aspect of self-care is going to be really important, and making sure that you're not saying yes when you really mean no, I think is going to mean everything. But most importantly, it is the way you are reframing things. You know, remember what we said about this. When you are trying to control things, it's an invitation for much deeper self-trust. And it's not a time where radical self-improvement is necessary, although if you feel greatly inspired, that's fantastic. But it's really about the huge amounts of self-acceptance that are coming, and that's what moves things forward immensely for you. It's in that kind of energetic shift that you're going to see the biggest results. So let's have a look at the flower medicine card that wants to come out, and it's the energy of the daffodil, bringing in this beautiful opportunity for rebirth. So some area of your life that you're ready to make this fundamental change, and it's either coming in already and you can feel it, you can feel the energy of that eclipse about to sweep through, or you are preparing to make that change, announce that change, and you are aware of how that's going to cause the ripple effect. But regardless, the rebirth for you is absolutely beautiful. It's optimistic. It's got this gorgeous sunny yellow feeling that the daffodils bring every time they come through. They represent that amazing time when we're coming into the spring energy, and we feel more invigorated and energized than we have for a long time. So something, someone, some energy influence is making you feel more invigorated than you have for a while, and I really like that for you. But I just need you to keep it quite safe, and make sure that it doesn't get hijacked, either intentionally or unintentionally, by well-meaning or less than well-meaning people who just want a piece of you or a piece of that kind of energy. So let's take a look at these Priestess of Light cards, see how they want to join the conversation. Okay, two actually wanted to come out here, so I will take them both. Okay, so we have Healing Earth, the power to give and receive healing, and Wings of Light, becoming something new. I think that's kind of really echoing what we've just said, because this energy exchange that's happening is really coming into a stark awareness for you, and you know, a need to sort of draw back so that you can feel empowered and safe and secure and grounded, and that your emotional needs are being met before you then step out to be able to help others. But reconnecting in Taurus energy, allowing those gorgeous Venusian energies to allow you to draw strength and nourishment from the natural energies that surround you is going to be really important, because something new is coming in, something new is birthing. Your aces are showing this up beautifully. Your rebirth is confirming it. You are on the move here, and there is sort of almost an inevitability about this that perhaps other people might feel a little bit uncomfortable with. Okay, let's take a look at this astrological deck to see what wants to come through for you. Okay, we have the energy of the moon, satisfy emotional needs, nurture self and others, where of course you are linked to the energy of the moon, Pisces. This is your card, so I like that it's coming out for you. I think it's giving you the opportunity to stand in a place that serves you, that you feel safe and secure. It also invites for that deeper reflective energy as Saturn turns retrograde the 23rd and then Mercury on the 29th, to go inwards and to really dive deeper into the subconscious, to really understand the ways in which you are changing, and most importantly the way that you think and how that's expanding and forcing you to evolve and to grow. Not forcing, encouraging you, guiding you, inviting you, because you are ready and embracing it. And if you do feel that there is some resistance there and there are some fears or confusion or haze that's coming up, which is perfectly natural at this time, and it might cause a little bit of doubt in your way of thinking, just be aware that we are releasing an awful lot around that eclipse time, okay? So it is going to give you a clarity of purpose in the days and weeks that follow, okay? But even then, the intensity of the build up to it might feel a little bit strong. So grounding as much as you can is going to be really supportive for you, especially. Now, this is just a general reading for May, Pisces. If you want to continue the conversation in the extended, we're just going to speak for another 20 minutes or so. And I'm going to invite you to just think about a question that I might not have answered in the main part of the reading. We'll pull a couple of cards for you with that. You can find the link for the extended reading. It's in the description box and the comment section underneath the video. And it's just a way to support my work. And I appreciate you for joining me. So let's just clarify this Page of Wands first of all. And we're coming in with the Three of Pentacles. We also have the Eight of Swords showing up here. Strength with the Ace of Cups. I love that for you. Also the energy of Leo coming in, and the Wheel of Fortune. Some beautiful opportunities on the horizon, but also bringing in that unexpected situations. Ace of Swords. We have the Sun and the High Priestess. Do you see how she's just radiating this light? This is the vibe that I get for you this month, Pisces. Energy of the Lovers. Another Queen of Wands coming in here. There may be some fire signs that are really significant on the journey through this course of May. So we have Seven of Swords, Knight of Cups, Six of Wands, another Ace of Cups coming in. A lot of love coming into your reading this month, Pisces. Weighing things up. There's our trip down memory lane coming in. Another High Priestess. Two of Cups. Nine of Swords and Ten of Swords. Wow, that's an interesting mix. Okay, we will continue this conversation in the extended reading. Thank you so much for joining me, Pisces. I wish you a beautiful month of May. I hope that these messages will help you on your journey. And I'll see you again next month. Take good care.